I have had the opportunity to know now about 10 years, I think. John has been a great member of our chapter in Iowa, has served in leadership roles there, has been active in advocacy, has been to DC, I know, multiple times to advocate for changes in care, changes in research funding for others. And his is one of those most powerful voices, and I look forward, John, to hearing that powerful voice.
Good afternoon, everybody. As Harry said, my name's John Sandblom, and funny story, when I first met Harry, maybe 10 years ago, I walked up to him and said, "Mr. Johns," and he said, "Oh, please, Harry." And I thought, okay. I want to, first of all, thank ADI for placing me in the opening ceremony. It's an honor to be part of the opening ceremony for their 33rd International Conference, and to Harry and the U.S. Alzheimer's Association for hosting it. Everyone appreciates that. As I said, my name's John Sandblom, and I'm one of the 8 co-founders of Dementia Alliance International, and I'm honored to represent our members today too at this opening ceremony. DAI is an organization which now focuses on many things, but whose primary focus is on improving the quality of life for people with dementia, and thereby also improving things for their families as well. A little bit about me. I was first diagnosed in 2007 at the age of 48 with FTD. Then in 2009, I went through a complete re-diagnosis at Mayo Clinic in Rochester. And at the end of that process, Dr. Beauvais told me that it was medically undeniable that I had dementia, but because my scans were so atypical, he couldn't tell me which type. Now, at that point, my father was in very late stage dementia, and I had actually been his primary carer in the early 2000s. And Dr. Beauvais told me that from the histories, he felt confident that we both had the same type of dementia, even though he didn't know what that type was. Now, my father passed away the following year from the dementia, and my oldest brother and I made a quick, actually the day he passed away, I was at the National Forum in Washington, D.C. for the Alzheimer's Association. And that was the day we were to go to the Hill and speak to the members of Congress. So it was a pretty powerful thing that my father had just passed from the disease that morning. I was diagnosed with it, and now we're going to talk to members of Congress. So it was a pretty powerful day that way. But anyway, my oldest brother and I scrambled to donate his brain to NCRAD, and if any of you don't know what that is, that's the National Cell Repository for Alzheimer's disease that's housed at Indiana University, and they distribute materials to research all over. So his brain was donated to them, and eventually we got a copy of the research autopsy that was done on his brain, and it showed he had Alzheimer's disease. So now it's thought that I have the frontal variant type of atypical Alzheimer's. So had it not been for that autopsy, we still have no clue what type of dementia it was, most likely. So I'm here at the conference with my wife, Cindy, my lovely wife, Cindy. For Cindy and I, it was a second marriage for both of us, and each one of us already had primary custody of our children, so we raised a blended family consisting of 6 boys and 1 girl in the same house. You might say, that poor girl, but let me tell you, she was the oldest and she ran things. Now, sadly, one of our sons passed away last year, but the rest all have their own families now, and we have 16 grandchildren. So that's the reward for not killing them when they're young. You get grandchildren later on. This slide is one of DAI's graphics, and it's a global overview of dementia based on data from ADI's World Alzheimer's Report in 2015 and the data on the World Health Organization website this year. So DAI started as a dream by the 8 founding members, and from that, it's now the global voice of dementia, and we're a registered 501c3 nonprofit in the U.S. whose membership is exclusively for people with a confirmed diagnosis of any type of dementia, and that membership's now represented in 47 different countries. We seek to represent, support, and educate others living with the disease in the wider dementia community. DAI is an organization that strives to provide a unified voice of strength, advocacy, and support in the fight for individual autonomy, full and equal inclusion, and improved quality of life, empowering people to live with dementia, not just die from it. DAI has been in a strategic partnership with ADI since 2015, and we thank them for their ongoing support. I'd also like to thank the LEAD Coalition, who sponsored a number of members to attend the conference this year. So big thanks goes out to them. So that's the different things DAI does to help with the quality of life of its members. And I want to say that for people, whether they're young onset like me, or whether they just haven't quit working yet, which is getting more and more frequent beyond what the old typical retirement age was, it really leads to a loss of a lot of your identity when all of a sudden your career path is stopped by the disease. And so, and to me, in the United States, there's also kind of the double whammy that if you have any type of disability benefit through work, which I did, it absolutely means you have to stop working to have that disability. So, like, doing something else for a while isn't a possibility. So to me, that's kind of a drawback in the way it works in the United States. But one of the things DAI does is help to give other purpose to its members that want to get involved. And I think that's a very important part. Our social media platforms are showing up there, and DAI is very proud of its YouTube channel, which was listed in the top 20 dementia YouTube channels in 2018. We also have a presence with our Facebook organizational page. We have a members-only support group on Facebook. We have a Brain Health Hub on Facebook. And we have weekly online meetings on brain health. We also have the organizational Twitter and LinkedIn accounts. Now, DAI has made their global focus about campaigning for human rights and access to the CRPD at organizations such as the United Nations, Convention of State Parties on the Convention of the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, and the World Health Organization. Our mission is to empower people with dementia to live more positively with dementia and to demand quality health care and disability rights. To fulfill this mission, we work with governments, other organizations, and individual members of civil society to create change in programs, practices, and policies that affect people with dementia and their families now and into the future. It is important to point out members who obviously are people with a dementia diagnosis founded DAI and continue to run DAI. DAI has 0 paid staff. We do have IT and accounting professionals that we pay for their services, but we have no internal employees. All work is done by our members and a precious few volunteers. So we're obviously very cost effective. It also is imperative that there is nothing about us without us, and this is our undisputed human right. And quite simply, this means that anything about people with dementia should involve people with dementia. And not just one person with dementia either, as many as possible. At the very least, proportional to other interested parties. So, in conclusion, I'm proud to have had this opportunity to speak to you today. And all of us at DAI wish everyone a successful and enjoyable conference. Thank you very much.